Hey there, it's Cynthia and welcome to the Dinner Fix, where I help answer the question, what's for dinner? Today I'm going to be making a really simple chicken and vegetable dinner that you can make in a skillet. And really takes maybe 10 minutes to put together. It is going to take some time to roast in the oven, so you'll probably want to start cooking this about an hour and a half to 2 hours before you're ready to eat. But again, the prep is really simple. Everything that you're going to need to make this recipe is actually right here on the counter. So very few ingredients, very simple technique, but it's going to yield very delicious results. So let me show you how I make it. First thing I have here is, are some red potatoes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel these. I've actually already done one of these, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel them and I'm going to cut them into 1-inch thick medallions. And what we're going to do is we're going to sear them in this pan. This is typically a dinner I might not make on a weeknight, just because, like I said, it does take a couple of hours to cook, from start to finish. But since we all seem to be spending a whole lot more time at home these days, I think this is a good candidate for a dinner that you can, again, just kind of put together a few hours before dinner time and then just kind of have it cook in the oven while you go about, your evening doing other things. So I have here the potato. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut a sliver off just to kind of square that off. And then I'm going to cut this into about 1-inch medallions. So for a potato this size, I'm probably only going to get about three slices, because again, I'm going to just sliver the end off. And I'm going to place these in a bowl which has, there's a tablespoon of olive oil in here. I'm going to add kosher salt and some freshly cracked pepper. All right, and I'm just going to give these a toss. What I have back here is a skillet that I have been preheating. Now, the entire meal is going to cook in this skillet, which is going to go into the oven. So you want to make sure that you do this in an oven-proof skillet. I'm using cast iron. You don't have to use cast iron, but that's just what I'm choosing to use here. We're just going to put our medallions in the skillet, just cut side down. Just arrange these all around. And we're going to cook these undisturbed for anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes, just until they've formed a nice crust on the bottom. And I'm going to leave pretty ample space between them, because I am going to add some carrots. I'm not going to add these quite yet. These will go in just before this goes into the oven. But I just have here a couple of carrots. I'm just going to cut these into about 2-inch lengths. I'm going to throw them in here so that they season with, there's, leftover kind of salt and pepper and oil that didn't cling to the potatoes. And actually, this one's pretty thick, so I'm going to slice it in half. Again, I'm just going to toss this in here. I'm going to set it aside for now, but just before this goes into the oven, I will add that. And I'm going to set a timer here for 8 minutes, after which point I'm going to take a peek, make sure that they've started to form a crust, and then I guess I'll show you what I do after that. So next step, I have here, this is about a 4 to 5 pound chicken that we're going to season with a couple of things. So we have here some more olive oil. I have some paprika, so I'm just going to add that to this. I have some grated lemon zest and some dry thyme. I'm going to add that as well. And then I'm going to add some salt. And some pepper. Those potatoes are already sizzling away. All right, so we're just going to give this a mix. So we have a nice kind of homogeneous, I wouldn't call it a paste, I wouldn't call it a marinade, but a flavored oil. Let's go with that. So what I'm going to do is I have here, maybe I'll try doing this here so you can maybe get a better glimpse of it. So depending on how squeamish you are around kind of raw meat, you may want to employ the use of like a wooden spoon here. But what you're going to want to do is you basically want to reach in here and separate the skin from the meat of the chicken. So I'm just going to use my hands. I mean, they're full of seasoning right now anyway, and I just find it's a lot easier to maneuver in here with my hands. But again, you could use like the back of a wooden spoon and just kind of poke your way in there. And again, you just kind of want to loosen the skin all around the breast and then up into the thighs and the legs here on both sides. All right, so we've pulled the skin back. What we want to do is we want to take our seasoning paste and we're just gonna rub this liberally, get it all up in here. Want to make sure our chicken is seasoned all over the place. And I'm actually going to move this here now that you kind of get the drift of what I'm doing. And I'm just going to use all of this marinade or seasoning. And once you've kind of rubbed the inside, go ahead and rub the outside, giving this little chicken a massage, if you will. So just rub it all over. The wings, everything. I mean, you want to concentrate the rub on the areas you're going to be eating, but so don't worry too much about the back, but I'm going to put just a little bit there in between the wings. Again, just giving this a really good rub down. All right, that looks good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to truss our chicken. So I'm going to take, I don't know, what is this, about a 15-inch length of butcher's twine. Well, struggling there, of butcher's twine. And what I do is actually, let me move this over here. So I kind of tie, I wouldn't say a knot, but just kind of tie the string around one of the legs here. And then I'm going to, actually, maybe I will tie a knot. That's a little loose. All right, so then I'm going to come around here. Just going to overlap those legs. And just going to wrap the twine around the second leg. And then I like to kind of come through up and over that top leg. And then I'm just going to tie this in a knot. And then this excess, I'm just gonna chop off. And our chicken is pretty much ready to start cooking. And there's about 20 seconds left on our timer. So I'm just gonna wash my hands really quickly and I'll show you what happens next before we throw this in the oven. There goes our timer. So let's take a look at these potatoes. Let's see, oh, perfect. So you can see you've got a nice golden crust on the bottom of those. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the oven off. Yeah, it's beautiful. So I'm just going to leave those kind of seared side down. Let me move my skillet over. All right, so what we're going to do is those carrots that we were talking about earlier, I'm just going to kind of nestle these in between the potatoes. And it's okay if you gotta move the potatoes a little bit to make room here. Let's see. I'm playing musical chairs here. All right, perfect. So we're gonna take our chicken and we're just gonna place this bad boy. Actually, we're gonna take the wings and tuck them underneath. Take one, take the other. It's easier to do this on a flat surface as opposed to trying to levitate the chicken while doing this. And then we're just gonna place our chicken right on top. Fix the skin. And then this is gonna go into a 400-degree oven. And it's gonna roast in there. Depending upon the size of your chicken, it's gonna take anywhere from an hour to an hour and a quarter, maybe a little more if you have a bigger chicken. But I'm gonna check this after an hour just to see where it's at. What you're looking for is a temperature of 160 degrees on the breast meat and 175 degrees on the red meat. That's gonna tell you it's done. So again, I'm gonna check that after about an hour. And then I guess, yeah, you'll see what it looks like at that point. All right, so it's been an hour since we stuck our chicken in the oven. We're gonna go ahead and check it. And again, the temperature that we're looking for on this. Oh, look at that. Does that look tasty or what? That looks tasty. All right, so the temperature that we're looking for on this is 165 degrees on the breast meat, 160 on the breast meat, 175 on the thigh or red meat. So I'm just gonna find kind of like the fattest part here, insert my meat thermometer, and it looks like we're there. Are we there? It's like it started at like 170 and then it's dropping. All right, and we're steady at 164. So that looks good there. And then let's do the same thing down here. And you want to make sure when you're doing this that you're not hitting any bone because the bone is going to be really hot and it's going to skew your temperature, which is not what you want to do. All right, so 175. This is actually climbing 178. That's done. All right, so what I'm going to do at this point, very carefully, actually using probably 2 sets of tongs for this, I'm going to transfer our chicken to a cutting board and we're going to allow this to rest, because if we were to cut into this just straight out of the oven, all of the juices are going to run out and you're going to end up with a really dry bird, and that's not what we want. I did not wait an hour to eat dry chicken. So as you can see, I just kind of inserted 1 set of tongs into the cavity here, and then I'm just using the other set of tongs to kind of help guide that along. I'm just moving this to a cutting board. I have the side with the well up because this will kind of ooze juices as it rests. And I'm going to tent this. I have here this piece of foil. We're just going to tent that and let that sit there for 20 minutes before we cut into it. So let me just set a timer. All right, perfect. And then if you take a look at our potatoes, these are nice and cooked through, really tender, beautifully golden on the other side. Our carrots as well, got some nice caramelization. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? So we're just gonna let these rest in the skillet while this chicken rests, and then we're gonna carve up our chicken and we're going to taste. And I'm just gonna put a piece of foil over this just to keep that warm. All right, so our chicken has been resting for 20 minutes, so it's time to carve. And actually, I'm gonna move these vegetables. Actually, I'm gonna remove that foil too. Look at how pretty that is. Actually, off camera, I did flip those over so that the brown side is now up. That was that timer. So the brown side is up, but you could see just how beautifully the potatoes just browned. The carrots did as well. You've got some nice caramelization going on there. And let me see if I can move this over so you can see. I've got our beautiful bird here. Nice brown, crisp skin. This is going to make a great dinner tonight and also great leftovers. There's all kinds of things you can do with, the leftover chicken sandwiches, soups, fillings for pot pies, tacos. Really the possibilities are endless. So, you kind cook once, and you can certainly eat a couple of times over the course of the week. Now I'm gonna get some of the breast meat here. Ooh, you see all the steam? I don't know if you could see, there's still a lot of steam coming off of this, despite the fact that it's been sitting here for 20 minutes already. So that's one thing to keep in mind with, you know, chicken. Another reason you don't want to cut into it right away. Earlier I mentioned the juices run, but also it's going to continue to cook while it's sitting there. So you want to just, again, give that some time to rest. I'm just going to take a small piece of chicken here, just for the purposes of plating. And sneak a taste. Oh, that's so good. That's really, really good. There's no reason, especially in times like this, why you should be running to the store and buying like a pre-made rotisserie chicken. I mean, you saw just how easy that was to make. Really took, you know, however long it takes to slice up a couple potatoes, some carrots, rub some marinade all over the chicken. The longest part is, you know, of course, roasting it in the oven and then waiting for it to rest, but really very minimal prep, and absolutely delicious. I'm going to serve this alongside just a wedge of lemon that I like to kind of squeeze over for some acidity and some brightness. And let's give this a taste. Yeah, enough talking. It's nice and tender. Let's see. That's good. That is really, really, really good. I just want to keep eating. I want another bite of the chicken, but I will pause there to say thank you for watching. Hope you make this one at home. You know, just, you got potatoes, you got carrots, you got chicken, you've got dinner. Thanks again for watching. Make this one at home. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe. And if you want to receive notifications next time I upload content, there's a little bell somewhere in the corner there that you can select, and you will be notified next time I upload a video. Until next time, thanks again, and enjoy.